It's actually one of the very few Sandhawk plane paths that does isolate a little bit of the map. Down towards Bantai, Camp Charlie, going to be a little bit harder to drop towards, a little bit slower. However, the speed at which you can rotate away from those is probably going to negate most of that effect. The northern plane, however, means that the teams who are on the south are going to have to pick things up. And actually, with a northern circle as well, that's going to even put more of a beat on their drum and see if they can get on going.
Oh yeah, the warband is going to be coming through massively, but the warband is going to be marching up towards this northwest island. Futbolists instantly see this, so come through and drop on top of the northwest island. It's going to make things a little bit difficult for Execute, who are in prime position to take that area. We've seen them win games from that area in PMPL, and I think this is the first time I've seen a circle on Sandhawk this tournament where I can pretty confidently guesstimate that it might head over to the northwest side. A lot of times it's been cut through the middle of this northwest island and it's kind of been outside of play, but here there is a very real chance that we might end up here. And you know, there are always exciting finishes when you're seeing teams trying to run up the hill to try and claim it. It is super King of the Hill vibes.
Oh, for sure. It's very, very difficult to displace someone from up there as well. It's just almost impossible, I'd say. I mean, we've seen it happen once or twice, but only in team fights where you've got 4 teams all trying to push it at the same time, and there's a bit of chaos that ensues, and you end up with a new person sat at the top. But we'll have to wait for that, as we are only in Circle 1 for now, and everyone still quite spread out. I'm looking at the southern island blank right now, because you've got this weird spread, well, maybe not weird, but you've got this spread from Secret Jin to the north of Aerowolf Limax, and near Aerowolf Limax are going to have to push through. Do they go for a boat? Do they try and grab out and go wide? We've seen them do it before on Sandhawk, so maybe they're going to look to do it again.
I mean, it's not like they need any of the other members from Team Secret Jin anyway. The only important guy to be looking at right now is the guy in Tambak, Kengzo. This guy seems to be always alive at the end of games, John, getting those extra points for his teams, just taking out other teams around. I think this is the second time when we were watching that last game where he has been that thorn in the side for his sister team in Team Secret. So a little bit unfortunate, but look, this is competitive. You know, those relations mean nothing. I will take you down. I will get those points. So well played to you.
Well, you were talking about this clash between Futbolist and Execute at the moment. Might be difficult for Execute. Not much more. Well, they've managed to take one. Solke goes down. Heavy fragger for Futbolist as well. Their IGL has fallen, which means they're down to 3. Do they go in for the rest of this fight? I don't think it's going to be wise there, but we'll see what more they're able to accrue. 3 players still on the northwestern island.
Loverzin's making his way up right now, and again, this is what I would hoped would happen with Execute, is that they would make a quick push. So far in the other games of today, they've been really slow on making those rotations. You mentioned it earlier backstage, John, on Orangle, where, you know, they were in ruins, they're in a really good spot to take the compound underneath Everest, but they were so slow to do it, they ended up getting taken down by a couple of players from Power AAA, and then finally finished off by 4 AM. Here, they were quick on the mark, straight out the gate to the top of the mountain. They know just as much as me that this is one of those times where you can kind of confidently take this position. Futbolists, they were more tentative in this. They only sent 2 up top side, and Execute just took their chances with it.
And it paid off as well, has to be said. And now they have the top of the mountain. See if they're able to crush the eyeballs of their competition from that position. Alpha 7 on the south coast there of the northwestern island are starting to cross, but so are Nova XQF right now. So this parallel rotation might cause a little bit of argy-bargy, but Loops find themselves in a fight as well across the way. They've crossed over early, and now they've tagged onto Futbolist. This is a really bad start for this EMEA squad.
Loops, we've chatted about it today, the desk has talked about it. This is a team that just instantly tries to get a good compound nice and early in the game and then plays from that compound. Worked out for them beautifully on Miramar. We didn't have to move too much from that God compound they did find around those silos. But now, I'm just wondering which kind of compound they're going to take. For me, a really nice compound is the one on just the southwest side of this northwest island. It's a really, really decent position. It doesn't afford you that chicken dinner power, but what it does is it gives you a position to maybe take 2nd or 3rd place pretty comfortably. Right now, it feels like Loops are just trying to clear out some players from Hatin's side and then maybe try and play from here, which is absolutely fine. But I need to see this team with that secondary plan. It's fine to have, you know, the arrow that fires straight into the bullseye, but, you know, I want that arrow to pierce through and go on to the next target, which might be the next compound within this circle.
Teams down in the south still yet to move. Aerowolf, Limax, and Bigetron in Camp Charlie they are at the moment. Blue Bees as well. They've got Aitachan all the way down in docks, but the rest of them are actually on the northwestern edge of Quarry in this next circle. Not too sure on the reasoning behind that rotation, but they're all still alive. Fair enough. Haven't been killed just yet. But Team Secret on the eastern coast, they're spread all the way across, really. They've got 2 over towards Kampong, 1 in Lakawi, 1 even further north. But Futbolist, they continue their sorry run as Lovazin falls, and now they're down to 2. It's Rom and Lutz.
Hey man, for Bluebees, it's all Aito-chan. But for Loops, not so much here with Futbolist. Loops are getting absolutely dominating Futbolist right now, just pushing them back this whole time. Executed, giving them a little bit of a...
yeah, that's wordplay on about 3 different languages, I'd say.
Yeah, I've really hit it hard there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Oh, I had to stop though, because I was like, what if I start going into more languages? And then I can't stop myself.
Too many languages. Language jutsu, that's what he's been performing over here on the desk. Power 888 right now on a split up to the north between Cow and, well, just to the northwestern point of the main island here in Sanhok at the moment. Haven't regrouped just yet, and fair enough, there's no real threat to them at the moment, but 4 AM, looks like they've sent Svan out wide on the boatation, and they're going to swing around the northern headland, so maybe coming into contact with Power 888 here.
Yeah, I mean, 4 AM really get away with some crazy stuff. And I keep talking about this team, I'm like, in my head, they feel like a 70-30 team. Like, 30% of the times, their rotations lead to disaster, 70% of the time, they lead to a really high placing within the map. And I think that's fair to say because they're a bold team. And I was talking to some players the other day about 4 AM specifically saying, you know, how do you feel they've done in this tournament? Do you think they've impressed you? And they said, absolutely. And I think one of the main things to take away is how quickly 4 AM adjusted. League play, they finished 7th. In the Super Weekend, they do a lot better, and they've continued that performance all the way through. But you could kind of drop down that 7th place on League play Week 1, just so that like feeling out, coming from Game for Peace into PUBG Mobile from the Chinese region and deciding how they're going to play around it. And they've adjusted a lot better, I would say, than Nova XQF are currently still playing the game that they're used to.
Well, let's talk about Nova XQF for a minute, Blank, because they're currently playing a 2-2 split around the confluence of the rivers. 1 on the northwest, 2 on the northwestern island, sorry, and 2 on this compound on the eastern side of the southern island. I kind of like it early, but the rotation paths to regroup are really, really difficult here because there's so many places where you can be spotted out. You've got the cliffs by boot camp, you've got any compound on the top of that southern island, and you've got the hill that you aren't controlling right now. And in fact, RRQ have moved into that hill and can spot out those rotations. So they're basically cut off from each other. Yeah,
RRQ is in a pretty grim position at the moment, though, trying to get through here just because of how much control Nova XQF do have here. But you are right, Nova XQF also in a little bit of trouble because of the 2-2 split they're playing, and plus with the way that Jimmy does Jimmy things, where sometimes he will just send it. You lose Jimmy, you lose a whole load of control here. This is the kind of position you play where you play conservative, you play passive. Nova XQF is not that kind of team.
Really, really aren't, are they? I mean, they just send. If they see blood in the water, they're ready. They're ready to fully go ahead and try and take that one. I'm taking a look at this rotation as well from Potato. You can see on the southwestern edge there in a boat out in the water. Probably spotted by Secret Jin on that peninsula there, and the rest of Aerowolf Limax a little bit further out, so they're going to have to push through, figure out their path there. Bigetron as well, way, way far out, and we'll have to try and push through. But up in the northeast, what's that? It's 4 Angry Men and Konina Power very close to one another and might actually have to fight to move through Tap Mock here.
Yeah, a lot of clashing going on here. Potato flew around the blue. Sorry, had to be done. But right now, this is okay for Aerowolf. I mean, for D-Man, you can imagine, oh, don't give me those fists, boy. I don't want that. I'm sorry, I'll never make that a Vine joke ever again. But D-Man's probably pretty happy with this, just because he's been talking about how Aerowolf have been making some pretty slow rotations recently, and it's nice to see them trying to get into the circle as best as possible. And it's kind of a bold push, because you're not really sure what you're going to be expecting on the other side. Team Secret Jin, it's fair to say that they would hit onto the southwest island quicker than Aerowolf Limax, just considering how out of the way Aerowolf Limax plays on this southern island. This confluence of players, though, on the northeast side, John. There's 3 teams trying to rotate in. I would imagine that all of them don't really want to take too many fights with one another, just because like you kind of hinder your own ability to get into the circle. But if there's 3 kills in the water, why not?
Yeah, it's 4 Angry Men getting caught out there by Konina Power. A couple of players have moved forwards already. The boat's getting blown up as well, and Konina Power really playing spoiler here. Look at that. Gonzo, he's got to spot him there, right?
Do you remember the game on Sanhok early in this tournament where it was all of Konina Power inside a vehicle, inside a boat, and 4AM just absolutely destroyed them. So Konina Power's actually getting a little bit of revenge here. So they've waited for this to happen. They're like, we're not going to get in the boat. You're getting in the boat.
We'll wait for you to get in the boat, and then we're going to get you the same way.
You get in the boat.
But Team Secret are just waiting in the wings. They're going to have heard this commotion.
Yeah.
You can see Konina Power's attention completely on 4 Angry Men. This might be an opportunity for Team Secret to come in and try and play third party there. Jinhei very, very low, going down to the drown damage, and will fall. It's actually denied the point, but in come Team Secret. Blank Rex kicks things off and finds a second. Gonzo hits the deck, and now it's 2 players standing for Konina Power. And coming in for the backline, the backup comes through, but Robdini holds strong for now. Black-White enveloped by the blue zone and pretty far away from the rest of his squad as well. Rex getting res, and they're onto the bike.
I mean, they're just going to leave. This is absolutely fine because with 2 knocks there, quickly, you can see the rest of the players from Team Secret rotate in front of Konina Power and then make their way into the circle like that, which I'm a huge fan of right now. This is real tactical play from Team Secret. But one thing I've noticed, which is the major difference in Team Secret, is when they can take fights outside of the blue and try and cover their own zones, they are doing it today. They're being so much more aggressive in taking position in the circle. They're no longer letting teams come to them. And I think that's a major improvement for this team. Once again, though, Svan is the remaining player for 4AM. Not a big surprise. This guy is the lone soldier, and I would say he's also a bit of a super soldier, so it's absolutely fine for me.
The RRQ fight and the Nova XQF very, very close to one another, probably going to start fighting soon. Nova XQF did regroup towards the southern island. In the meantime, they lost order in that process. They still got Jimmy doing Jimmy things. We'll see what more he can do there. Secret Jin moved off that southwestern peninsula of the northern island. They're now on the western side of the cliffs of the mountains that are the main feature of this northwestern island into this next circle. And of course, this fight's still popping off, and it's Mad Toy to land some devastating shots over to Konina Power.
Svan just actually knocked ice shots as well from hella distance. This is not going the way the Team Secret planned it to, all because of this little guy over here in Svan.
He's in the blue, but he's waiting for everyone else to come towards him. He knows that this fight continues to pop up. Exactly. He's just going to gatekeep both of them because he knows this is a full 4v4 fight and that he can pick up the pieces. Ooh. They have got the push on them. Oh dear, we thought it was going to be a northwestern finish, but look at that circle blank. It's now all anybody's game, and Blue Bees are very happy with this, but in come RRQ and Nova XQF starting to fight against one another. D2E gets the knock, gets the flush up to Paraboy, but G9 and Beer 11 have fallen down. King still there, still in the compound, looking to try and hold strong, but he's the last player for Nova XQF now.
Luxy and his team are so good at this, just waiting in the wings for things to pop off where they assume action is going to take place, and then just really capitalizing on it. Loops are now trying to move their way down to the same position where Abrupt Slayers have just crossed over. Remember, Abrupt Slayers, they really want to try and get as many points as they can in this game. They're currently in 13th place with 68 points, but they will not be going into the next Super Weekend after not qualifying from League play this week. So this is a really big chance for them as they make their way over to boot camp, but they do still need to clear Digital Athletics as well as Blue Bees from that position.
And this is the effect on Nova XQF that I was talking about with that 2-2 split. RRQ just cut them off from one another. They laid siege to their position, and it's paid off really very well. Obviously, they were down 2 players, but they still had the player advantage before Bigetron chimed in to help the fight. But now King, left alone, has to try and scrape what he can together. Fortunately, they are in the next zone, so he has got a little bit of time to play with. We'll see what they're able to do there. But Bigetron advancing forwards. It looks like they want to continue this, and King actually first under the kosh.
Yeah.
Might just go down, but pops a smoke. Okay, that was a smoke, and unfortunately, it is a Vector that is going to outduel the smoke pretty much every time.
Yeah, it's a pretty fast-firing weapon. I'll not lie. Now Luxy trying to take some shots onto D2E. Fast fire comes back from the rest of RRQ. They do currently have 4 players alive, so this fight between BTR and RRQ needs to conclude quickly, though, because Alpha 7 are in the wings and they're making their way up. Aerowolf Limax, though, again, I think the D-Man's no longer smiling. They're still taking forever to make this rotation. Execute, on the other hand, they are super happy. They were able to come down from that hillside without being attacked or aggressed upon, which is usually what happens because you can expect a team to be up there, but most of the teams in the lobby, they have rather kind of put that emphasis on a more strong position on the coastal side of the Northwest Island.
There is quite a large chunk of water here. This sort of lake part of the river almost in the middle of it is so devastating. I mean, obviously you could sit on the island, but you're going to have to leave it eventually. Those cliffs out to the east, pretty much insurmountable, which means that you're funneled down this entire thing into the peninsula that is currently occupied occupied by Loops, right? And that's such a difficult position to try and push into when everybody's looking your way. You've got Klas Digital Athletics on the top of boot camp. You've got Abrupt Slayers as well, looking over the cliffs.
I think for me, I'm just looking at Team Secret right on the eastern side of the circle. Look, this is the price you pay when you try and go a little bit more aggressive in the games. A lot of times it can pay off, but here it just doesn't. Konina Power come away with 4 players on the north side. Team Secret with just 2.
Svan, last player for 4 Angry Men, and there's no Angry Man left in the lobby. We'll be going down in 15th place. Now, that's a pickup for Power 888 on the northern side, but Konina Power have managed to leapfrog that position now and have the advantage in terms of the speed of that rotation. You could see as well, Ice is going to fall down to the blue zone, and now Konina Power need to push south as it does zone in towards boot camp.
Yeah, nasty little circle this one actually. Loops are trying to get their way across, but Abrupt Slayers making that rotation a little bit faster than them can now just pick the fish out of the water with the spear. In this case, it will be bullets and guns. Team Secret, though, pretty happy with them still. They can make their way on the eastern side pretty safely. Power 888 are trying to fight with Konina Power, but they've got a way better position from them. Power 888 are either forced to jump into the water or push onto Konina Power's side. But I think that Konina Power probably need to be a little bit more worried about trying to get into the circle itself.
The fight has been drawn out from the top of the mountain, and Execute, the kings of that mountain, will have to move on down. Konina Power, again, just controlling this coastline. They're ahead of Power 888, and they're forcing an unfavorable rotation. Secret Jin as well look like they're heading for the island, but they're all in the water. You see there's a line of them just descending there. Konina Power on foot, and Robdini downed, which means they're down to 3. They're not going back for Robdini at the moment, so just using him as a rear guard, as a rear scout for the time being before he ticks away.
Yeah, rear guard is like basically been stapled to a wall. Watch this area, will ya?
Oh, I guess I haven't got much choice, do I? It stays behind. Yeah. Goes down eventually there. The rest of Konina Power, though, they're going to keep on trucking. Klas Digital Athletics on the north of boot camp right now. Hang on a minute, Aerowolf Limax starting to chime in on the back of the fight between, well, not fight, the position between RRQ and Bigetron. They aren't in the circle, but with the knock onto Luxy, him going down, that position is now made aware of, so RRQ can focus there as well. Yeah. The blue zone pushing everybody in and will force this fight to go ahead.
See, this is the best position for Aerowolf to try and cross because the actual river is most shallow here and you can walk across. What I think was the mistake was taking a shot like that too early. Sure, you get a knock and a kill, but it means now the BTR can fully focus on you. And BTR is kind of safe from RRQ at the moment just because of the compounds they currently have. RRQ, BTR in the circle, both in agreement that neither of these teams have to attack one another just yet.
Over in boot camp as well, Blue Bees, they got the really lucky zone shift. They've had boot camp pretty much since it came away from that northwestern island. They've been holding that down pretty well, but Konina Power waiting in the wings. Futbolist though, and Execute going head-to-head right now, and Kill Switch gets the first knock. Only one player now standing for Futbolist. You can see Rom on the off angle. Last player alive now as well. Zute goes low, but it's not going to finish him off. The blue zone, though, is continuing to put the pressure on. Futbolist eliminated now, 14th place, and all 4 of Execute survive.
Execute very happy with that fight. Some excellent pre-fires coming through as well from 2 of the guys there. You saw Zute and Killswitch just shooting around that corner. They knew that that was the only position Realm could come through, so very, very well played to them. They are going to struggle to get into the circle. I won't lie to you guys. This is probably as far as Execute goes in terms of trying to rank up towards that top 5. But we'll see what kind of magic they can pull off. Nexo comes through again. Disgusting stuff today.
Silas falls first for Klas Digital Athletics. And they are going to echo with a knock, however. In come the Blue Bees from boot camp. They've been holding it down as Solus on the hillside laid bare. GZ will be able to hide behind this rock, looking for a little bit of a sneaky pick, and we'll find it as well. Raze falls, and the spray to continue it as well. It's flushed on out. 5 kills now found for Secret Jin. 1 player down, that's Cosmos. Drops down the hillside to maybe get res, but we're in zone 5. It's not going to work out for you. Oh, sell him though. He wants to play spoiler, and Secret Jin's position made even weaker.
And I mean, Secret Jin being able to look over here for so long has allowed Loops to actually get 2 players into the zone. They have really bided their time in the water. Sure, they will be soaking and freezing, but finally out of the water into the frying pan.
Oh, speaking of frying pans, Kengzo healing up in the blue. They are way out to the northern side. You can see that there, Blank. And
that's
just
double.
going for the heal of Federal, going for one, going for two, looking for more onto Blue Bees as Reiji gets confirmed. Lufa as well has been downed in the meantime. Secret Jin come out on top of the fight on the north side, but will fall as well. 9 teams now remain.
Good stuff from you, High Boy. Finds another knock in the process. Actually confirms onto Ito-chan, so just trying to get some more points on board, and still Team Secret are in this game. You can see them on your screen there. Blue Bees, with that position in boot camp, with this kind of shift, just was so awful for them. Surely a lot of teams knew that they would have to lead through there, but Potato finds a nice little knock onto G9, and another.
Oh, he's going for a third as well. Ernie around the corner just gets sprayed down, and 3 players from RRQ. It's all gone topsy-turvy for them. They've got their player on the other side. D2E was waiting for the regroup, but it's not going to happen as Potato just dumpsters them around the rock.
That's what you call a hot potato. Good plays from him to make that one happen. In fact, more than good plays, that's a huge play.
They're not going to be happy with that. D2E, last player now for RRQ, but he is in the next circle. Loops have to move down, so it's a 1 versus 2 on that northern edge. Team Secret and Alpha 7 on the eastern side going to have to combat, but who's that slap bang in the middle, Blank? It's Bigetron with the compound.
Play zone takes down Team Secret, so they will get a 6th place here. Let's see how many points did he get on board. 5 points. It's not a huge amount, but it's still something. Zuxi down on the floor. Remember, Bigetron down to 3 players, but there is really not a lot of players in the circle other than Alpha 7 with the 4-man. They have just been sniffing at this circle from the southeast side, and finally they decide, you know, this smells good. This smells like kills.
This is a hard hill to hold against as well for Bigetron because the windows don't have the greatest of angles there. You can just bobble those nades in and continue that push. However, you can see Microboy trying his best to get anything he can. RRQ actually keeping up appearances. One of the Loops players has gone down. Now just Carrillo and D2E on the northern side, but Swagin goes down first to the spray from Zuxi on the off.
That is a ridiculous knock coming through from Bigetron. They absolutely needed that if they wanted any chance versus this team from Alpha 7. That's going to cause a big pause. And with the play zone coming in 5 seconds, Alpha 7 are right on the back of it. This is horrendous. And Zuxi is just holding them.
Zuxi is on the off angle, but this is going to allow them to push down. They know that this res needs to come through. Law leads the charge, and that's a beautiful spray with the M4, able to dismount the off angle. Door closed to try and bounce the nade away, but Law's not going to stop here. You got the backup as well from the rest of the squad. They just keep lobbing them in. Microboy trying to cook one of his own, but the suppression is there. D2E gets spotted in the meantime, and now with 3 players. A lovely Molotov to control those angles, and that's the burn onto Microboy. He's going to go down, and 1 player standing for Bigetron is just Ryzen in the back room there. In the meantime, Loops has fallen as well, and now it's Alpha 7 starting to mount up, starting to roll on through. Ryzen tries to hold strong, but he's the last player for Bigetron and just can't hold it out. Not long enough. Alpha 7 take the chicken dinner.
That is how you play a quiet Sandhawk.